Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's Cali Surfer, and we've got a new ethical hacking tutorial today. We're going to be going through the box called Blueprint on TryHackMe. This box is rated easy for difficulty, and we'll be hacking into a Windows server and gaining our root access and then escalating to NT authority so that we can grab both the hashed passwords for all users on the box and also our root flag. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Listen closely. Listen closely.
And now you can see that I've jumped into the Nmap scan results to save a little bit of time. We've already discovered OS Commerce version 2.3.4 running on port 8080. We're going to look into that service a little more, check for known vulnerabilities, and then we'll proceed accordingly. We're going to be using a known vulnerability that allows us to arbitrarily upload files, and we'll be uploading a PHP pass-through shell so that we can use it to do in-browser remote code execution. So right now I'm playing around a little bit with MSF Venom payloads to catch it with Metasploit. Ultimately, we're not going to go with this method forward, but let's search in Metasploit first to see what kind of modules are already in there for OS Commerce. Yep, forgot the port 8080. There it goes. We're going to navigate now to the OS Commerce directory, and then we'll go into catalog, take a look at the site. We also used GoBuster before starting the video and discovered an install directory. So we'll go to that and see what we can do. But here's the eShop. Very sloppy design here. It looks broken. Let's go ahead to that install directory. And we can see now we can see that we can actually initialize the database and create our own admin user. So let's go and make a root username. Yeah, we have to type in that database name, OS Commerce. Let that load for a minute. Just looking through the notes here, I've already written down a shell.php pass-through shell. Let's put that into a file to prepare it for our file upload. Yeah, and one little issue that I ran into here was that the Python script for the file upload was written for Python 2. I tried to use a virtual environment, pip install to get that requests module that I didn't have installed. I wasn't able to do that. I'm sure there's a way, but ultimately I thought about this, and if I'm doing a cybersecurity project, I really shouldn't be using a non-supported version of Python, right? So instead of trying to get that virtual environment going with the right modules, I use this Python script 2 to 3 to translate the code. And it probably won't work with more complex code, but with this code, it was only a few things like putting parentheses in after the print commands and changing the name of one of the modules. So pretty slick tool to keep in your back pocket, especially when doing ethical hacking and you need to use some older scripts that haven't been updated yet. So here we go, just getting the syntax correct here, and we'll be uploading that shell.php. And the dot back is the backup, the original Python 2 script. All right, so we've got the target URL. We've created our credentials on the database as admin. And so we need to get in the right directory with the PHP shell or create a new one here. So I'll just vim shell.php, cut and paste. Whoop, that's the wrong one. There we are. Save that. Write and quit. Now, let's try the upload. Good. All right, so now it's available at catalog/admin/shell.php. Let's do a proof of concept now. We'll try the command who am I, see what we get back. Admin shell. So to put the command in, you put a question mark after the PHP, and then cmd equals, and we'll put who am I for our proof of concept. And something's not working right. It looks like I forgot the parentheses on the PHP shell. So we'll have to re-upload it. And we'll change the name of the shell. Let's go into there and edit that with Vim again. Syntax error. That's a pretty good hint that I messed up the pass-through shell. So I'm just renaming it now so we don't get any conflict with the file names. Okay, I'm uploading it again, but I don't think I realized yet that the syntax is wrong. All right, but I'll figure it out in a minute here because we're going to get the same error. All right, so finally, let's go back into that PHP file and add the parentheses. Right, examining it, finding the mistake. There we go. Check it. Okay, this one's similar. And there we go. I found that parentheses that was missing. Let's update our shell, get it in there, and we'll get to work with remote command execution. Okay, so I've renamed it. Well, yeah, we'll put the space in there. And we'll write that. And exit out. Okay, so rce.php. Let's rename that to command.php. This is going to be our winner. Let's update the file name. And we'll get that on the server. And let's try our proof of concept again. Boom, we got it. We're already NT authority, which is awesome. It means that we don't even need to privilege escalate. Our next task here is to convert from remote code execution to a fully interactive shell. Now, there are a few different ways that we could approach this. One is to use the Nishong Power View payload. That does work, and I'll demonstrate it. Another is to use the Metasploit web delivery module. And I like the web delivery module better because if you break the shell by accident or it stalls out, it's a lot faster to get it up and running again. But let's go ahead with Nishong first just to show how to do it without Metasploit. So we'll go to raw and we'll just cut and paste here. All right, we'll just save that. And yeah, let's add one more line to the bottom of the code so that we can run Nishong just by loading up this one file. And we'll spawn the rev shell to our listener. We'll use port 80 because port 80 is generally open and the firewall doesn't affect it like some other ports might be blocked. Okay, so we'll put in our IP and port 80 at the end of that. Let's give it a little bit simpler name. And we'll spin up a server to serve the file. And then now we need the Windows command to grab a file from the server and download it. And we'll put that command into our PHP RCE. All right, so there's our command, PowerShell IEX, which grabs it and runs it. Okay, and we've got it set to our IP and the correct port for our Python server. Let's change that name to the simpler name. Okay, now let's copy and paste this command and we'll drop it back up in our address, our browser command there. And we should, with one click of the enter button, we should be able to catch that on our netcat listener. Let's make sure we have that up and running first. There it is. And return. So if you were going to proceed with this Nishang reverse shell, you'll be able to grab the root flag right away. But one of the problems is that to get the hashes for the other users, we're going to have to use Mimikatz or another program, and we can skip a bunch of those steps if we just use the web delivery module. So let me switch over to that now. With Metasploit, we can use the command hash dump to just quickly grab all those hashes. All right, so with this module, it actually does everything for you. It spins up a listener. It tells you a command to run on the target machine. So all we have to do is get our parameters correct, and then we can run it, and we'll be in as NT authority with Meterpreter. So let me delete this whole thing here. Bring this up. Let's get back to our command. Take that away. I'm using Kali Purple today in a virtual machine with VMware. And it works really well, but I noticed that a bunch of the standard tools are missing for some reason. I don't know if I got the wrong install with minimal tools or if it's always like this, but I love the backgrounds that come with it and works just like any other Kali. But, you know, it was missing things as basic as Nmap. So I've had to install a bunch of tools, which isn't really a problem. It's just something to note about Kali Purple. All right, we're searching for the correct payload here. Looks like that didn't work. For some reason, we need to type out the payload name. So we want Windows, Meterpreter, reverse TCP. So it turns out that instead of the backslash, it's going to be, or forward slash, it'll actually be an underscore there. Yep. So I just misread that payload, but it's number 93 is the one that we want. We'll cut and paste. got it. So it looks like we have a problem with port 8080. It's already in use. Let's cancel that, check our options. Let's just switch up that port. So we'll set the serve host as ton0 because, yeah, it'll actually, I had the wrong serve host. Yeah, it was set on the target, but we want it actually on our host, our attack machine. So now it gives us the command. Let's drop it in. So into our command area, let's run it. And this will take a little while, but it should catch the Meterpreter shell here on Metasploit. There we go. So we got a .sct request. Let's let that keep working on it for a minute. Just making some notes while we wait. So that's the module we used in our payload. All right, so we hit a little rough patch here. We've got an error that our command length is greater than the maximum. So let's change up our payload and see if we can fix that problem. It's fun when magic happens and it all works, but there's a lot of build-up until we get to that point while we tweak parameters and get everything set up just the way it should be. So let's go ahead and cancel out this web delivery attempt here. We'll switch the payload and then we'll try it again. I'm just looking at my payload that I used before, and instead of the underscore, it's actually a /. So we'll set the payload with the /. Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP. That's a pretty standard one to use. Now we're running into the problem of our bind failed because the address was already in use. So we'll switch up our L port, just give it 5 5s and run it again. And this time, hopefully it works. Let's run the new command in our in-browser RCE. There we go. We got the SCT request. Nice. We're delivering the payload. And hopefully we see the magic this time and we grab that Meterpreter shell. Nice. Looks like we're on the way. All right, we got our Meterpreter session. So to get into that session and interact with it, let's use the command sessions tac I, and then we'll use the command sessions tac I1 to drop into that shell. And right, we need the proper syntax, get UID, we are NT authority, awesome. Now all we have to do is hash dump to grab that lab hash. It's the second string in there that's going to be our password. Go over to crackstation.net, I think it is, and we'll grab that flag. And you see I got the path just a little bit wrong here. I forgot the Windows first. So we'll just do a find command and search for our root flag. Right, so it's actually search, and then tac F for file, root.star. Let's let that run, and in the meantime, we'll go over to crackstation, and we'll grab that cracked hash. It's going to be, there it is, Google Plus is our password for the lab user. All right, so that's one question. The other question is the root flag. And here's our root flag. So that brings us to the end of today's walkthrough. Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe down below, click like, and leave comments, questions, or requests down below, and we'll catch you on the flip side. See ya. Bye.